let's move to Oakland.
That's right.
We're going to be talking about Allblack here, who this is the first time I think I've really listened to him. I recognize the name, though, so maybe you can enlighten me on why that is, or maybe it's just something that the name just looks familiar for whatever reason. This is his first album, right? Or second?
He calls it his debut album. He has a litany of EPs out thus far. Yeah. It's far from his first drop. He's 29.
Yeah. I was, obviously doing a little bit of background research. It's like, debut album, there we go. And then I went on Spotify and I was like, his discography is like 10 mixtapes deep. I was like, okay, well, I don't really know what to do here. But thank you for fucking with me. TY4FWM, the debut album from Allblack. I don't know what to say about this album, Dave. I'll let you go first. Was this an album you were looking forward to, anticipating?
Right, so I wasn't like anticipating it any more than the next Allblack release, just because I wasn't like thinking the debut album was forthcoming. I don't know. You look at this guy. I guess I kind of viewed like Out Calls as his debut album. If you look at the list of them, but he's released a lot of stuff. Usually 40 minutes or less. For the most part, they all sound the same. So I don't know if this really feels any more album-like than his other stuff, but either way, happy to listen to it, of course, just because I'd gotten into him several years into his career because, he was on the G-Eazy West Coast remix. And I think that was a really great feature from his because he follows up Blueface. Blueface very famous for boxing the beat, if you will, not always staying in rhythm with it. And you have Allblack showing up and totally burning the beat down and like not having any interest in staying in pocket on the beat. And I'm like, who is this? And then I understand, the G-Eazy connections because they're both Oakland boys. Makes sense. G-Eazy pops back up, of course, on Thank You for Fucking With Me. Then I get, do a little digging and I'm like, Allblack is just like one of those like local hometown heroes at this point. For Bay Area rap, for Oakland in particular. His song Canadian Goose from 2017 was a big hit with the Golden State Warriors. Klay Thompson in particular really expressed his love for the song. They played it at their victory parade and apparently a lot during the season in the locker room. So he's made a name in the Bay long before he had any real national recognition. He had that Kenny Beats project a few years back. He seemed to be slowly rising, and I really think that G-Eazy look gave him, or exposed him a little bit more to the national audience, I think. And if you think about it, like, all the West Coast rappers from the Bay rappers, for the most part, they don't make national names all the time. Like, obviously, we know G-Eazy, he's ascended to pop because of what he looks like. Other than that, like, and discounting the legends like E40 and Too Short aside, no one really seems to make it all the way through, right? Like, we talked about Guap Dad 4000. You got SOBRB. We talked about Pilo. A lot of these guys, it's like you're either really up on your rap to know who they are, or you might just recognize the name because they're on a bigger artist song like Allblack was with that G-Eazy thing, right? But I feel like, and I feel you listen to this, Thank You for Fucking With Me, I don't think Allblack's doing anything to compromise who he is or what this Bay rap sounds like. And I don't, so this long way of saying, I don't think Allblack's like going to become like a national rap star or anything. He's just going to be a legend in the Bay. And that's totally fine, because this is very much Bay Area shit. And it fucking bounces. And I think it sounds good. I think the biggest sticking point probably with Allblack is if you can get a handle on his flow. Because, like I said, he raps quite fast. But from what I understand, it's actually, there's a Detroit influence on the Bay sound. And that really comes out in Allblack. And as a result, the pockets of the beat are often conflicted with the flow, and it's it can be interesting at times. I think when you have like a lesser song from someone who sounds like this, it does kind of feel a little jumbled. But I also respect that he has that really rapid fire flow, and he's doing it on those bouncy Bay beats. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, bouncy is the right way to describe it, and I think, I thought there were some songs on here that really stood out. The first track, Life of a P, super fun, energetic, almost kind of reminds me of like in the same family as like Fade from Kanye in terms of like the bass, that boom ba dum bum bum like kind of
Hmm.
thing. But as I was listening back to a couple of these tracks today, and second time around, I usually am like, there's a moment I wanted to catch here, or like kind
Right.
of like go back to this. I started noticing that a lot of the songs sounded very, very similar to me, and I think that would probably be my biggest knock. While I think he seems like a really talented rapper, and like he actually just seems like he's like you said, going to be a legend in his own right in terms of just the technical abilities. I think there's a lot of sameness in terms of the production on this and the sound on this, and I think the lack of variety. The second time, kind of digging through, I was like, I don't know. I was kind of losing interest. Now I do have to say, back half of the album, you get a Vince Staples feature. I perked back up at that. I thought Vince was great.
That was a great Vince performance. I thought that song in general was really nice because that's actually a little different speed for All Black too
Yes.
on that song though. We straight second last song, and you get Vince with a really inspired feature. I thought that was a great pairing.
Yeah, I that stood out to me, perked me back up. But you know, Life of a P, I think I really liked. Was it P's and Q's? I
Yep,
can't remember.
too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
P's and Q's too. And then definitely We Straight were like the top three for me. Also, I thought Do or Die with Sada Baby, little underwhelming, but still always enjoy
Yeah.
seeing Sada Baby on the track. So,
So,
what stood out to you?
yeah, speaking to the sound, 10 of the 14 songs are produced by DTB, who is a
Mm.
less famous DJ who's made a lot of stuff for the Bay. I actually don't know if he's based in the Bay, but he's made a lot of stuff for people in the Bay. And I think that's the thing. It's like if you like this kind of stuff, you're happy to hear the classic, the three bounces on the drum to kick off the beat, and the
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, you're listening to a Bay beat. Pilo didn't produce anything, but they're very reminiscent of how Pilo makes his songs. Um, I'm happy to just hear that bounce because in general, like I said, you don't really get anything indebted to Bay Area production on a national scale unless it's something like DJ Mustard or making stuff for YG, and then I guess you're really making LA music. So, I think you have to be listening to this for that like specific scenes. Like when you listen to like I said, Detroit rap, right? Like uh, Lil Yachty just released that Michigan Boy Boat project. If you were a Little Yachty fan, if you were an Atlanta rap fan, you're like, what the fuck is this? But if you were a Detroit rap fan, you like Michigan rap, you would actually recognize him doing something different there. That's why I feel like you have to listen to All Black and be like, this is Bay music.
Yeah.
You have to listen to it for that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
In terms of All Black, I think he's interesting to me because he he actually was a pimp in his earlier days. He didn't rap about being one. He actually was one, but he doesn't actually brag about it all that much. You get to kind of like listen for the metaphors to actually pick up on it in his music, which I appreciate. Um, but yeah, as a performer, I think I liked his stuff on Ego, which is also produced by Kenny Beats. Funny enough, but yeah, I think this I guess is a nice place to start, but all of his projects, I think, have that thing. They all sound. He sounds pretty consistent throughout, and that can feel samey. I totally agree. But you just have to kind of, I think, pick out what you like and listen to it for the specific, subgenre that it is. And actually, a note about We Straight with Vince Staples. That song had actually come out without Vince's feature in 2018. Then it got re-released on this with the new Vince feature. So I'm very happy about that, obviously.
Yeah, All Black. If you like that Bay Area sound, check it out. Even I think a couple of these tracks, Life of a P for me would be the place I would recommend starting and seeing and going from there. Also check out We Straight